Hello and welcome to the Wolfson College LibGuide page on all things research data management. So this is just a really short video to introduce you to the idea of research data management and also to give you an idea of what you're going to be able to find on this page. So what actually is research data management? Well, really simply, research data management is the organization, storage, sharing, and archiving of all data produced during the research process and beyond. So really everything that goes on as part of your time as a student, whether or not you're undergraduate, master's, or PhD, whether or not you're STEM or humanities, everything that you produce as part of your research becomes data, which then needs managing. So research data management is really just everything that goes into effectively organizing the things that you produce as a student. So one of the misconceptions about research data management is that this is really something for STEM students. Well, as I've already hinted to, there is absolutely a need for humanities students to also be thinking about the things that they produce and how they're organizing it. So just to give you a flavor of what can count as research data, there's a lot. There's an enormous amount of things that come under this heading, things like archival material, audio files, code, documents, the list goes on. This is really something for every student to be having a think about. So why go to all of this effort to make a data management plan? Well, there are lots of reasons. First of all, the university strongly encourages it. This is something that the University of Cambridge has formally come out and said that this is part of their best practices. So of course, it will always give you brownie points to have this kind of level of organization, makes you look good as a student. Also, if you are getting a grant, if you're getting funding from somewhere, they might require it as one of the conditions of their funding. So it's something that's really reassuring, not only to the funder, but also to your supervisor, to everyone else involved in the project. Will feel much more at ease knowing that you have a plan of how you're going to store your data for longevity and how you're going to share it and all these things. But also for yourself, it's not only that other people want it, it is also that for your own workflow, it can make the process of producing your data much more efficient. Thinking about it in the beginning stages of your project, knowing how you're going to produce and store your data can really streamline that process. Moreover, if your research works with humans, if it works with animals, or anything else that has ethical implications, it can be really important for safeguarding this data, which is protected by GDPR, right? So there is a legal requirement in some cases about protecting or safeguarding this personal data. So really something that is necessary in some cases. And also, it is not unheard of that data gets lost, unfortunately. There can be freak accidents. It can be that you lose it somewhere or that it gets damaged somehow. Maybe if your laptop gets your coffee spilled all over it, something like that. Having a data management plan right at the very start insists at the get-go that just have multiple backups of your data. So if you take anything away from this PowerPoint, it is to back up your data right away. So these are all of the reasons why a data management plan can be really, really important. So what are you going to find on this LibGuide page? Well, you start out with thinking about making the data management plan in the first place. So there are a couple of really useful resources, some templates to get you started. So those are really just like a checklist of questions that to get you thinking about different things. So not all of them will be relevant to you, but they'll be really important just to get you considering all of the different aspects that might be involved. Also organization in the first place. So the best way to keep all of your data secure for the future is to make sure you and also everyone else knows how it's organized and sorted, so having that really clean. Managing personal data, there's a lot of resources on that as well that you'll be able to find on this LibGuide. Backing up your data, some really fun videos and different pieces of advice on that. And the same again for sharing your data. So all of these things are kind of like a checklist, basically, to just get you thinking. So this is kind of like an overview of all of the different things that you might encounter in terms of research data management, which will then signpost you off to the places with really in-depth material helping you to finalize your data management plan. So last but not least, the resources that I would like to really point out are first of all the university's research data management page, which goes into a lot of detail on all of these topics. So really useful looking at those for some really in-depth information on all of these things. Second of all, the online module that's also been provided by the University of Cambridge, going through the things that we've talked about, how to organize data, personal data, things like that, sharing data. So kind of giving a crash course in all of the things that we've talked about, but in a more interactive way, if that's the way that you learn best. And then finally, the PowerPoint slides of a previous WolfWorks, the sort of Wolfson workshop series that is available on the topic of research data management as well. That is all available to you, and I highly recommend checking it all out. So if you have any questions or if you'd like to book a one-to-one session with me, then please do get in touch with me via my email address, academic-skills@wolfson.cam.ac.uk. And otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck with your research, and thank you very much for watching.